action potentials are the signals that neurons use to communicate the length of the neuron. And the reason for making action potentials is that the distance is quite far relative to the size of the cell. Neurons have these long processes, dendrites and axons. The axons in particular, though, can be centimeters to as much as a meter long in a large vertebrate. But the diameter of the axon is still on the order of 20, 30, 50 microns, like that. So the length to diameter ratio is enormous. And so how do you get some signal to move down such a long distance? You can't use a chemical signal because diffusion isn't that fast. You can't use a molecular motor, it would never be that fast. So the really only option is an electrical signal. Now, electrical signals in membranes will die out pretty quickly. If I generate an electrical signal in a cell membrane, it dies out. The trick of the action potential is it's regenerated. It's regenerated all along the length of the axon. And so that electrical signal will propagate and it never diminishes. That has the additional advantage that it provides an important function to the nervous system, which is divergence of information. So the signal traveling down the axon, this action potential, the axon can branch, and that signal will appear on both branches of the axon, again, without any diminution in amplitude or velocity. And so I can have a neuron that branches to 1,000 other neurons, and with exactly the same fidelity, the signal that's traveling down initially in the axon will suddenly be present in all 1,000 branches and arrive at those targets. It's particularly important because the nervous system, or brains, have the ability to process information in parallel, which very much speeds up the rate at which you can process information. So if you're looking at a scene, for example, and you want to process different aspects about the scene, for example, form and texture and motion and color, well, all of those can be processed in parallel in different channels. And that requires this divergence.